everybody. We are in the wilderness. I'm just joking. We are outside today for our third episode of Rated R Season 1. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We will be discussing whether or not permission should be granted by ex-partner before introducing child had in that relationship to your current partner. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Rated R. This discussion will be as extra juicy and spicy one. We will be discussing whether or not permission should be given by ex-partner before introducing child had in that relationship to your current partner. For example, if John and I were together and we had a child in that relationship, but I'm now with Cordell, do you think I should tell John first that I would like to introduce our child to Cordell? What are your views and thoughts? We have with us my husband, Cordell Rachi, who will be the co-host in this episode. And we have Miss Deandra Gray, and we have Mr. Antonio Baker, who will be sharing their views and thoughts with us. And I must point out that they are experts in the field of relationship because we are all counselors, and so their views will be solid points. All right. We're going to share a case study and then we get into it. All right. So let's go. Kady, a 32 years old female, has an 8-year-old son with her former lover, Dan. The two were together for 11 years but got separated when their son, Mark, was 5 years old. Kady is now ready to move into a more serious relationship with her current boyfriend, Jeffrey, and wants to formally introduce her son to him, but fears Dan's reaction, as some time ago, after a date night with Jeffrey, he took her home where he informally met Mark, Kady's son. However, Dan got news of it and was quite irate that Kady would invite a male guest to the house where their son is present without informing him first that his son would be exposed to and interact with their current partner. The then argument ended with Dan suggesting that Kady is acting as if he doesn't have a say in who his son spends time with. What are your views, my guests?
That's great.
What are your views on Kady's fears, though? Do you think her fears are rational? Should she be fearful of Dan's reaction to her son meeting Jeffrey again, formally this time?
No. For me, I'm getting a little bit of controlling from her partner. Because the fact of the matter is, our relationship is true. It's true. So I don't have an obligation to tell you anything. It might be though that because we share a child, you might need some information or need to know that something is happening. But I'm not obligated to say, oh, on this day our son is going to meet my spouse. I don't think so.
I don't think it's a matter of obligation, though. I think it's a sign of mutual respect, because you're going to take my child in the company of an adult with whom you're going to spend a lot of time with, of which I'm sure my son too will spend a lot of time. So I think it's just fair to inform me. that you're going to take my son to this person's house, or you're going to go for ice cream because you want your child to, because the two are now significant to you, your current partner and your child, so you want the two to meet. I think it's just a sign of respect to let me, because I'm biologically tied as well to this child, so I think you must let me know.
Yeah, but based on the case study, it was just an informal interaction. It's not like the child and the man, they were, or should I say, the child saw the man interacting with Kady in a particular way where, he was exposed to, something to say for Jeffrey to be that upset. And could it be also that Jeffrey
Dan,
not fully
Dan, her
Dan not
ex-partner.
fully let go? Why is it that he's so high rated?
It could be because, all right, here's a follow-up question. Do you think Dan is being unreasonable and displaying signs of control? And I must say that while I agree that you should, because my view is that I don't think you should necessarily get consent, but just for a show of respect, inform your ex-partner that your child will be in the company of your current partner. Right? So while my view is to inform, I think in this case Dan was unreasonable, because I would like to assume that Kady tried to explain what happened, to say that Dan, nothing happened, I didn't introduce them, Jeffrey just dropped me home, Mark was there, he saw us interacting, he ran outside, and that's how they met, but it wasn't anything formal. Right? So I think he was being unreasonable there and was showing signs of control, because notice how it ended by saying, Dan ended the argument by suggesting that Kady is acting as if he doesn't have a say in who his son spends time with.
And here, in terms of spending time, as you would have mentioned, it is informal.
Right.
I'm just stopping by and basically moving along.
So,
So
he's really
the child
been
wasn't in
spent.
any danger.
That's what I'm saying.
What would have happened to drive him so mad? I'm not sure. So
But
I agree
alright,
with you that
so
something might be
so
underlying.
Yes.
so let's just Jamaicanize this then. No man, no one, no said them pitney. A woman carry them pitney go to another man.
But what may I
That's
say?
just
Hold on.
That's just
Hold
it.
on. I
And
don't
so I
understand.
think
Hold on. I want to ask. When you say the perspective, respect says I should tell you. I will
Right.
tell you that, all right, I'm in a relationship now, and of such, by some way or another, the child will
meet my
meet
new
child
spouse.
will-
who my
Right,
spouse is.
so
All right.
that's it.
So once that is known from once, do I have to tell you every time that they're going to interact? Okay.
no,
So
that's
look at it this way.
preposterous.
All right. and I ask that question because it therefore means over time interaction will happen whether you know or not.
Or not.
But-
So if it is a case that if it is a case that the relationship ends on a good note, it might mean that you have that kind of an interaction. So me can come tell you, say, baby, say me have a next girl now, and
'Cause we're
just because
friends.
me respect you, and I mean I know that we have a child, over time, and it's really growing, things are get serious. Well, the child are gonna meet my spouse, right? Because we're spending more time together. But if it end on a bad note, it might mean say we're not
obligation.
talking.
No obligation.
So me
yes.
not go no, but me
But
not
I
deal.
agree.
No, but look here, me no want my son come on my house and all of a sudden, oh mommy, Auntie Kim said I shouldn't drink cold water because this. Auntie Kim said I shouldn't eat cheese. Auntie Kim and Auntie Kim and Auntie Kim. Who is this Auntie Kim all of a sudden?
Let's
No.
break it down. Let's break it down. So the last part of the was saying that say the last part again.
So I'm gonna start here.
Just the last part.
The then argument, that part, the then argument with Dan ended.
Dan was saying that
Right. Kady is acting as if he doesn't have a say in who his son spends time with.
alright. So the fact of the matter is right there they are being drawn into looking at who is the child living with.
I would assume the mother.
Okay. So if the child is living with the mother, truth is the father doesn't have a say, and that is my opinion, doesn't have a say into who, because what that is going to do now is the father can use that say to try and control the mother. So if you don't agree with who I am talking to, because if I tell you and you don't agree, then what is going to happen?
And that is why my basis is not not necessarily agreeing. So it's not on a basis of consent, but to just inform.
No, so I feel like a tabs you keep on me. I feel like, say, you use that as a means to pry. You want to know who me a link, when we a link, where we a link. Because I'm supposed to inform you.
It's not on an all-time basis.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, then if alright, so fine. I can agree with if it is that we have and we are corresponding on a level where I can share. Out of respect, I'll say to you, I'm in a relationship now and it's getting to a point where I think that our child will have more interaction with who I'm dating.
Being enough
I can understand that. But not all situations is going to allow you to be able to do that.
That is the ideal situation.
Yeah, that is the ideal situation.
I just
One to one time because we vex, because we break up, emotions are involved, and it might mean that we cannot have that. Now when you hear about somebody else, you start thinking, I did my man, you know, and then he gone, or I did my woman, you know, and she gone, you know. That leads into our next problem. So to avoid that, you just live.
I just don't want to know. Alright, for me, and it's not that I would pry. I just would like to know the type of influence that you would have around my child, because while I may trust you, I don't know who this partner is, but I would like to trust you enough to trust your judgment to be in a relationship with someone who, you know?
Yeah, me hear it there. So if me hear it there, I hear the trust my judgment when me hear it there. You have to trust my judgment in who me are going to take up now. Yeah.
But then your judgment never good for leave me in the first place.
But it might not be my fault.
Suppose you didn't lick your chip. Suppose you didn't lick your chip when me ended. And then you just take up anybody and I carry my son in a this.
That is assuming though. But how you know that? Alright. You see, you have to toot your own hand, you know. You're gonna say my judgment never good when me left. It might mean say you're a good person, but that's not the best suited for me.
It never worked.
It just never work out. It don't make you a bad person or make me a bad person.
Exactly.
It just never work out and we have a child. All me say is there's nothing that says me have to come tell you say me deal with somebody else and me pick me I go deal with a person in terms of on an interaction level. I don't think it's mandatory. It may happen if in the ideal situation, but in not all these cases.
Yeah, based on what is happening in Jamaica,
You're not deal,
how
man.
relationships are ending. It's not ideal to do it.
So you're saying it's okay if you should have a child with John, right? Are you saying it's okay for John to introduce your child to every female that he interacts with or thinks that is the woman?
No.
Probably
No, man, that's a different thing.
Your child being introduced
No, that's a different thing.
8 women per year.
No. Who the child will interact with is who the thing grow to a level
But
with.
that is what Danny's saying, because in the end him say he should have saying who his son spends time with.
I don't agree
And
with that.
time is investing in, so him want know the company. What if the woman has other children? What if these children live with their father? You know the influences out there.
But what I'm saying,
The people who they're just as though you would spend time to research the school that your child may attend and the neighborhood, because you want them to be in safe
environment. The child to that school, or to send the child to that
If
school.
it is life changing,
Yes, because no, it's not with that view. It's just a view to ensure that your child will be safe.
Alright, but
And
so this
the
is what
influence
you're
is
saying.
mainly positive, because there are positive influences. We can't take away there are negative influences.
Look at it
We can't
like
take away the negative. We
Look
just
at it
want to
like
know that it's mostly positive.
Okay, but look at it like this. You made mention of school. So you look and say, alright, you have Denham Town, you have Campion, and then you look at the pros and the cons with a view of choosing the one that is safer for your child.
Right.
In my relationship, you don't have no pros and no cons.
you don't have a say.
So
I don't like you have vet the person when me a date.
but even if I want to pick up one mad woman and I see me like, you cannot say that I don't have a right to be with that person and my child to interact with that person.
and that is why I'm saying that in this particular scenario, I think Dan was being unreasonable because alright, I don't
Dan
even
can't
want to
feelings
know.
over the
Yeah,
thing,
of
man.
course.
Dan,
There is
Dan-
something. There is something.
Because you can't tell me
Of course,
because
there's signs of jealousy
because
there.
hold on,
Of
because hold
course.
on. You know how reach Dan? Somebody link Dan and say, yo, Baker, you know what go on?
Yeah.
Man drive up at your yard, you know, brother. And
true.
you run come out and Dan
Yeah.
and say, Jesus shit. One
I
next man
think
now.
I personally think
What's if Dana
there is-
walk foot
Yeah.
and I want big
Exactly.
SUV?
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
I
feel
agree.
it, of course.
That is why
Like
I
you,
said I
Nobody never say them gone for a dating and them see the child run come hug up the man, you know. The man
Exactly.
drive, come right at the
and
gate.
it's just an informal
interaction. So where the man vex for? Where
I
can't
don't see
feel
why I'm
for?
upset. Why is he upset?
Alright, so the scenario says that he's upset that Kady would have invited a male guest to the house.
No, but the man was not invited.
He was
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
come in.
The man never get invited to the house.
But that Dan here.
No.
That's in
Dan
my
find a
ear.
point and decide to go vex about it.
Yeah.
And
But I don't think that is the
alright,
real
so-
reason behind
So
it.
let me be grown and mature enough to accept what you're saying. All right? And I do accept that some men and even females are like that, are controlling, and sometimes they really use the child to
keep
pry
tabs.
and keep tabs
True.
in their
That is-
Of
ex's
course,
relationship.
when the picnic come spend time with you, find out who your father date now, or who your mother date now, or when go on night time, what time him come in. Because
Or
remember,
what
you know,
happened at home.
what about, alright, if he did not hear about that interaction, right? Probably them would have date months.
Yeah.
The child wasn't not placed in any danger.
That's what
What
I'm
was it?
saying.
So,
So
me not
it's
It's not
understand.
like the child saw
Them a kiss or
or in any-
nothing
yeah,
yeah,
out of the way.
yeah.
But what I find too, as I mentioned, Cardell, is that sometimes children become double agents.
True.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
So,
That is
mommy,
so true.
and
I'm with this person.
yeah,
and then when I'm with daddy,
I'm this person. And you find that sometimes the only way to bridge the gap, because probably you not talk to mommy or mommy not talk to you. I don't know anything about nobody case, but you find say when the child comes to daddy and goes back home to mommy questions the child. And probably daddy want to know what go on and mommy too. So when the child come at daddy, daddy question the child.
Yeah.
So the child, but I don't think it should be like that though. But for me, I guess going back to the root of it is, the truth is, if we were in a relationship and the relationship broke down, right? I don't have no obligation to tell you that I am going into another relationship.
No.
Fine, no man, fine, we have a child, and depending, as Cardell said, on the nature of the relationship. Because if we have a good enough friendship, I even outside of our child, we probably can say to you, say, yo, you know, say, I have a new girl, you know, and I find one little Kady and we are trying to build a relationship. So without even telling you that my child is going to meet the person,
You
you
know.
understand that there is somebody
You can make
there.
an inference. Yes.
Exactly. Versus a case where you see me as dirty pot. Or
Yes,
dirty
it
cloth.
depends.
And you
It
know,
depends.
like
Yeah.
me.
It depends
Yeah.
on
You
how
have
the
a push up
relationship
in there, you go
ended.
say,
Yeah, if the
Oh.
child is with you,
Amicable
me probably I
means
find somebody to
as
send
opposed
the
to-
money that he should get.
Yeah.
We don't have to have any interaction. We might not have any kind of an interaction, which means if it is that I'm supposed to come and tell you that, it might just add fuel. Because it's one more reason for you to hate me all more now.
Right, and that's what
You
I'm
understand?
saying. It depends
You
on
know
how
what I mean? So it
what
depends
happened.
on how the separation
And
took
the
place.
child come home to and say, oh, I meet Auntie Dana or
have
Auntie
mercy.
whatever. You don't know the relationship. But because you probably don't have in your mind say, oh, I'm a little dirty dog. You know?
Yes,
You
yes.
already think say I'm
Yes,
a woman.
yes.
You probably are just my friend.
Yes.
But that is real and it is happening. So, alright, so here's our last question. What's your advice in this scenario and for anyone who is experiencing this?
You have to treat it based on its merit. So if
I
it is a
agree.
case that you and your partner, or well, your ex-partner, have a good working relationship in terms of a friendship, or communicate on a level where it's not hostility, like me and you go war. You may be able to communicate that, you know, I've entered into a new relationship with with that being said, as you said earlier, the person would infer that over time the child
Something is going to happen.
will have some kind
All
of
right.
interaction.
So, what's your advice in this particular scenario? What would you tell Kady? Because remember, she's
Kady
fearful, right?
I guess the fear that she has also comes because of the person she know her ex to be.
To be.
That is what I was going to say.
So if he all abusive,
That is exactly what I was going to
I
say.
feel like Kady shouldn't go
Because it
police
goes back
station
to
first.
controlling.
She go police station because I feel like if him catch her one side, him go do her something. Because nothing happened there for him to
For
be
him
that
to
way.
be like,
Right.
that's exactly what I was going to say.
I think irrational.
Yeah. And so when things get
Started
even
very
more
rational.
serious now, when the man probably come on a sleepover, or you are going to stay over, what will he do?
Yeah.
I say to her,
That's true.
because of how he reacted, it's something that she should take seriously and also take measures to protect herself and,
And
her
her
child.
son, right.
Because that was very irrational on his part. I can't feel anything. I don't know feelings. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Miss.
I agree with
Gray.
what Cardell said. This man is a madman. Go and report it.
I feel so.
But he wasn't violent though.
He not get to the
Him
point
not
yet.
get to the point there yet. But that's where he's getting.
So your advice is to report it.
Yes.
And moving forward, how would you advise someone else who is having some difficulty with their ex-partner not wanting their child to spend time with their current partner?
Based on the situation, just do what you think is best.
Meaning, what's that?
So if you think moving on with your partner and just do what you need to do for the child, and you don't have no bond or anything based on what is happening, you just have to do that.
I thought
But in a sense, you force the relationship and it's not working. At the end of the day, you're gonna need somebody.
Yes, that's true. And I thought came back to me the discussion we were having before the pre-ear discussion, that sometimes too the current partner and the child may not see eye to eye. So what do you do in that case too? Mr. Baker, you answer that question.
For that, I think oftentimes there is an influence, the other party, and oftentimes the truth is when relationships break down, the child often goes to live with the mother in most cases, especially in the Jamaican context. And I think because women are the more emotional of the beings, sometimes they start to project or they start to say things in the presence of the child.
Right.
And then when the child meets the other spouse, or my
That's
spouse,
transferred.
the child begins to project the feelings of the mother onto that person.
Yeah,
So
that's so
sometimes
true.
the relationship between the father and the child and the new person in the relationship might be stormy. But I think the man has to be a man. The man has to be a man and to say, listen, and based on how old the child is, reason with your child. So me and mommy are no longer together. Mommy might have somebody else. And this is what I find too. Sometimes the person who is holding back your relationship are probably themselves already in a relationship.
That
So
is what
you-
I'm saying.
So you
just
trying
have to do what you have to do.
to get that controlling factor, controlling my life. I will not allow that to happen.
Right.
Talk to your child, make your child understand. So listen, mommy have her person, daddy is a man, daddy has needs, daddy needs his person.
Doesn't make me love you any
Doesn't
less.
make me love you any less.
Or I won't do what I need to do
Exactly.
for you.
And then you monitor the relationship between your spouse and your child. And but I
But
don't
what
think-
if even after doing all of that, the mother still decides that, hey, this is how it is, this is how it is, this is how
Go
it is.
to the court.
And daddy keeps saying,
Court custody
hey,
hearing.
listen, this is what is happening and this is what is happening. And remember, at the end of the day, the child is spending most of his time with who? Or her time with who? The
the
mother.
person who
With the mother, you understand? So what do you do in that case?
Well, again,
What do you do?
as the relationships do break down, you might find yourself having a court case, a battle where you have to decide
Right.
that you fight for custody of your child. But again, it will always come down to me having a perspective, because the separation will mean
And-
I have a perspective, you have a perspective. But again, I guess, as you said, depending on the age of the child, that conversation is very, very important.
And sometimes too, the two adults can just put pride aside and have a conversation with each other.
Not in
The
this
truth
Jamaican.
is, the truth is,
society.
that is
that-
an
No,
ideal.
and that
It
is
is
the
that.
truth.
Perhaps
It is that we
with a
cannot.
mediator present,
That is the truth.
they can have a conversation and say, all right, look here,
True.
we are gonna move on and
True.
just have a, because
But-
you guys used to love each other. So where did that love go? I'm not telling you to go back and find the love,
When love
but
turns to hate.
find a way to sit down and talk, because you're not gonna mess up each other's life.
All right.
They can't use the child for trying to mess up each other's life.
The truth though, is that when relationships are good, they are very good. When relationships go
Very
bad,
bad.
Very
they are very bad. So mediation
Not even that.
probably won't even help, because only thing will be said.
But
you
Mr.
are the
Baker, we
fault.
have to encourage that.
Yeah, but Carter
We have
said
to
something
encourage
about
that.
court. For me, I don't think it should be ever be a case where two adults have to draw themselves before a judge. When we were making the child, the judge was nowhere there. So if it comes to a point where a decision needs to be made in the best interest of the child, we should be able to sit down
Right,
and
that's
come
what
to
I'm
that
saying.
decision.
That you have to just put pride aside
Yeah,
and talk with each
that's true.
other.
Or somebody just back off.
That's true. I
You have to
mean,
put pride aside
I
and
say,
talk.
and I think this is it.
Nothing
in terms
beats a
of it.
conversation.
A conversation is excellent. I'm just raising some things that are happening in the space and time, place that we live in. Sometimes you have two people who decide that it is my way or the highway, and it's regrettable, but that you have to go through the court. But I say this: in all cases, you should ensure that the safety of your child is considered,
Yep.
what it will do to the child, the impact that it will have. And if it is that you hate me, my guts, at least think of how it will impact the child and make the decision based on the love that you have for the child. And try to forget that we're not seeing eye to eye.
Right. So that's how we're ending, by acting on the best interest of the child. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Rated R. Yes, viewers, believe you me, that discussion was past heated, past spicy. I don't know what to say. I want you to say it in the comment section below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Rated R is going places, and I want you to go with us and help us to take it places. Email us if it is that you don't want your thoughts to be in the public's eye at ratedr1027@gmail.com. The case study will be posted in the description. Let us know your thoughts. Do you think permission should be granted before introducing your child to your current partner? Let me hear what you have to say.
The man have all man watch it woman place.
Everybody.
The man have got woman workplace when they left. He might train the guy here to see if no man come in.
No, but them some the unhealthy, like
Yeah, but
that
the
man,
man is this.
them man they have attachment issues.
Kady,
The man they have
it's something
attachment
good, it's
issues.
something good. And he must say, if I know him, nobody else can get it. You know see that all the while?
The red flag.
Red flag.
You talk
Red
about
flag.
it done. And in an ideal situation, if he just let him man tell us say right now he's still a claim to you. I know the same thing there.
And
Where
that's
are
the truth,
There's
because
some men like, I wouldn't want to.
man definitely
There's
say,
some
yo,
men like that.
if me can't get you,
Yo,
no
nobody
other man
else.
can get you.
And then them make the child.
when a woman go look
control
upon a man
the
and tell him
decision.
say, here we go on. This year look at this. They go find one bad man sex and make him kill you. You realize you're doing a serious situation now because this woman is willing to go to any length if you decide to left. Where you go do? Yeah? But that's why I suppose people are dead and I like country.
Let me do my intro and outro. Let me do my baby. Holy, that discussion was past heated, past spicy, past interesting. It was past riveting, believe you me. I want to hear what you have to say. Be sure to drop your comments below. And the case study will be posted in the discussion in the And the case study will be posted in the description below so you can read and share your thoughts. If you don't want to post it in the public's eyes, you can always email us at ratedr@gmail.com. Be sure to follow our Instagram page at ratedr1027 or Gmail. I know that's our Gmail.
Start over, Kady, you know.
What's
45.
This one.